There was no way they would have beaten South Africa because South Africa won are always passionate. In all ramifications, South Africa has a better team, to beat them, even first 11, second 11.
I actually want to commend the two teams, but most essentially South African team. Why? Because they have actually seen football as a religion.
Welcome back to EVO SPORTS. There was a friendly match involving the Bafana Bafana of South Africa and the Chipolo Polo of Zambia in Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, South Africa. The Bafana Bafana came out on top by 3-1. And the goal scorers are Apolis, that plays for Orlando Pirates, Mohan Kota, that plays for Al Etifat, and Sitole, that plays for Tondela, but presently on loan in GSM. Now, the South African defeated Chipolo of Zambia. And the Zambian, though they succeeded in scoring one goal. Kima, I'm starting with you. I could see that the Zambians, I think I don't think they fielded their first team players. Maybe they were experimenting or something. Though the South Africans came out on top, which they fielded most of their key players with about a few players that doesn't play in the South African League. So what's your take about that game?
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a good game for South Africa, honestly, and it's a friendly game, yes, but sometimes the friendly games too matters because the players that were invited and that were on the pitch to play, they want to play for pride and they want to play for shirt as well, because Hugo Bruce made it clear that the friendly matches are also important to him, and then it's a preparation as well, and then going forward you have to know the players, and then he wanted to experiment one or two players that are less experienced too in the national team. So, and then you have to make sure that everything is in order. And then you cannot just say because you are playing friendly match, you just come up and then begin to, without putting your energy in. You put your energy, but at the same time, you be so cautious because you are playing friendly. And don't forget that Zambia too, with South Africa, they are like almost bitter rivals most times, and then their game is always interesting to watch. So it was a good game. And then the guys you mentioned now that scored 3-1 result. We have some of these South African players that play in abroad as well, and then sometimes people feel like the South African players as if they don't play abroad. There are many of them that plays abroad as well, but just that what the Bafana Bafana does is that wherever you are playing, it does not guarantee your permanent shirt in their squad. So anywhere you are playing, since they have a very good league as well in PSL, if you are in Pirates, if you are good, if you are in Manchester United, if you are not good, they rather play with the one in Pirates that is good because they believe that will give them their best. So unlike other African countries that rely because you are playing in Europe, definitely you must be invited, or when you are invited, yes, you must come. I don't want to mention name.
No, I don't want to mention name.
So that's just how the Pirates. And then one of the things that caught my attention was that out of the whole squad, no Kaizer Chiefs players was invited, and then George Dlamy also was concerned. He was like, why is it that even Peterson, the goalkeeper that is doing well for Kaizer Chiefs, he felt like the guy should have been given a chance later on.
Since he's a friend.
Yeah, since he's a friend. And later on, they have to come out and say, okay, it's even good for Kaizer. You know how fans used to be? Say it's even good for Kaizer Chiefs to make them to prepare very well for the next game, upcoming game. Yeah, so after all, their players will have more rest. But it's a lie. If they invite your player, you like it. Shabalala was supposed to be invited as well, but maybe one or two things Hugo Bruce rather go for some lesser experience that maybe he believe he wants to. I don't know. And some were speculating that because Hugo Bruce was once on Kaizer Chiefs list around 2018 or there, but they wanted to sign him for Kaizer Chiefs, but maybe because they did not sign him, so he's having beef with Kaizer Chiefs. I don't want to believe that. So, but the coach knows why, because I believe maybe one or two players from Kaizer Chiefs supposed to be in the squad since it's a friendly match. But in South Africa, sometimes they don't do it. Maybe they want to balance the book. They just invite who they believe they are okay with. So, but for me, I would have wanted maybe Williams should have been rested. Maybe places like Peterson for Kaizer Chiefs or China for Orlando Pirates. Yeah, just to try. But then Hugo Bruce knows better. He knows what he's doing. Maybe just trying to keep checking his first 11 and people might, just to be giving them that more cap. So that's what I feel.
Anyway, if friendly games used to boost FIFA ranking. So South Africa hosting Zambia and defeating Zambia by 3-1. And how about your take about the game?
Yes, I actually enjoyed the game, though the game was very rough. And I saw a Zambian side that came with very, very young
Yeah.
set of players, you understand? I wouldn't know if they're trying to build a team for the future because they are very, very young set of players. The game was too rough, but there's something I like much about that the both side on that. They are like their technicalities. Even though South Africa win 3-1, it's a friendly game. The scores most times does not actually matter. Yeah, it's yes. The tune of the way the players are tuned up. And you see, friendly match differs when there are no tournaments. No CAF organized tournament, no FIFA organized tournament. The friendly match is such that you can just play, sweat it out, and just go home. Now, this friendly match basically is a tune-up match to get a better team for the upcoming Nations Cup, which is going to start up on the 21st of December. Now, if you check, South African coach Hugo Bruce injected one or two players. Yes. Apolis, who scored the first goal, I think he played for Orlando Pirates. Then Moa Nkota, he plays for Al Ettifaq of Saudi Arabia. Why the third guy there, Sitole plays for Gil Vicente. Yes, Tondela on loan to Gil Vicente. I feel these are few injections into the team. Looking up to the Nations Cup that is coming up, I feel he want to balance the team with some certain set of players. You see, yes. Because if you notice very well, the team is basically dominated by the Pirates, Sundowns, and the Kaiser Chief players. And maybe one the other guy is from Stellenbosch. I think one player is from Stellenbosch, and one is from what's the name of this team? Golden Arrows. So I think the coach is trying to tune up a team, a formidable team that will compete properly well come Nations Cup in less than a month from now. So it's a good game. I love the game, though the game came out 3-1, but in a friendly match, scores don't actually matter. It's the tune of players you're going to have, the mix of players you're going to have, because now he's going to have selection problem as well. Because I believe there are some Paris player he didn't invited. There are some Sundowns player, few Sundowns player that he didn't. Yes, Stellenbosch player that he didn't invited. So I know he's the coach. He's at the ends of affair. So he's going to come out with a team he feels is going to give South Africa the required results come the Nations Cup. So let him keep improvising because this is the best time for him to improvise. When you play friendly match as against a tournament that is coming up, you want to get the very best of players you want. Now, you know, sometimes getting the best player, we may see a best player from our own perspective. A coach may see a best player from his own perspective. So he is the coach. It's a nice one for the both sides. Even though Zambia came out the eventual losers in the game, I think they are molding a team that will actually take Zambia to the next level. And I think South Africa too is building a team that will make them compete come next Nations Cup.
Okay, Chima, how about mention of Zambia coming up with a young squad? Do you think that that's affected the Zambians way of playing in this friendly that they had with South Africa?
No, it didn't actually affect. I see passing Dhaka, Fashion, Sakala, most of those players, they are still their squad, but there was no way they would have beaten South Africa because South Africa are always passionate and playing that game in all ramifications. South Africa has a better team, you know, to beat them, even first 11, second 11, because if you just watch the South African team, like I've always said, just is true to the camp, is true to the stadium, from Pirate Stadium, from Sundown Stadium, they just carry their bag, take a cab just to Mandela Stadium, just to go and play. So that cohesion, that understanding is always there between those players. So playing the game is always easier for them. And then don't forget, these guys, they blend together. Even the same guys playing the club side, the same guy playing national team. So definitely there's no more, apart from all this Nkota that always come from, and then Lighter, what is his name, that play for Burnley, the striker, Foster that plays for Burnley FC. So most of these guys, they understand themselves. So and when South African players are playing, they put in so much energy, they put in so much for so much, you know, they don't play it as if you watch the game, you see how rough, like you mentioned, how rough the game was that day, you know, because a lot of energy, in fact, at the time I was scared maybe they were going to get injured because we could see the story of Abu something from Ghana that broke it. So I was scared. That was why I was feeling like if you have to play some of these matches sometime, maybe you have to be alternating some of your key players because of injury. But then again, the star players too also need to be up and doing, and it's in this kind of game that you have to be, you know, they have to be played. Unlike other parts of the African country that they believe when it's friendly matches, their star player don't turn up, or even when they want to turn up, they turn up late, they select the matches they play. But in Bafana, you don't have the right to select the discipline that has been instilled into the. In fact, everybody want to play, because just like George Ndlami complaining, and so many fans of Kaizer Chiefs complain that their players were not invited, all of the. So it's a kind of like, it's a pride when you see Bafana want to play. The football culture in the country, it's like, where's our player? We want to see Mbukezi from the Pirate, we want to see Mokena from Sundown, we want to see Shabalala from Kaizer Chiefs. So everybody, their fans also now, it's feeling like, since the Kaizer Chiefs players are not there, the Kaizer Chiefs fans are feeling they are feeling left out, like, this our team now. How come? So does it mean that there's nobody that is good enough to represent it? But they are forgetting that whether it's Pirate or Sundown or Kaizer, is still Bafana. So that is what, when you have a good league, that is what it does. Because is it in Nigeria now, can we be saying there's no Carlo Pillars player in national team, or there's no where you are even playing, they should not even invite any of them, because you understand now. So that is the joy of the league. And yeah, so when you have a good league, it's very, very competitive. You believe that any of your player is what can deserve to be in the national team. So, and I believe the player they should be pushing, or that for me was supposed to be there. Shabalala for Kaizer Chiefs, then Peterson at least supposed to be giving. Yeah, the goalkeeper supposed to be giving at least a chance. Then second half. Yeah, second, and then even Chani of Pirates was on the bench. So I feel like Williams should have rested a bit. We already know that he's the number one choice goalkeeper. So I feel like he should have rested. Everybody knows what he can do. They know that, yeah, this guy, you can't bench him. But just to make others too, and to make Williams know that we have other players too that are good, and to also make those good, because goalkeeper hardly see time to play in football matches. So friendly games like this, and when you showcase your power, you showcase that, yes, I can rotate my squad without having this thing. So, and then now they are preparing for CAF Nations Cup, preparing for World Cup as well too. So you must know the ability of your, like that Zambia game was a very good game for them. So you should have known the ability of some of these other players, from even some players, some other club side too, that have goalkeepers or players of South African indigenous. I feel like they should be invited also, giving them chance in this kind of match, so that that competition will be in that. Yes, will be in that score, so that, yes, at least when they have that cap, wow, that pride, that ego will be there. That, wow, okay, Williams, I want to replace Williams in that. Williams too, we know that, man, there are other goalkeepers too that have kept for South Africa and there that are good as well too. So, but then Hugo Bruce knows what he's doing as a coach, somebody who have qualified them for the World Cup, to top the group, in a group where you have Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Rwanda, Benin Republic. So definitely whatsoever he's doing now, he will be on the right side. Nobody can challenge him, because they believe he knows best. So, but going forward, let me just read out the players that started the match. Williams started from Sundown, Kuliso Mudau from Sundowns too, Nkosinati Sibisi from Pirate, then Mbokazi, Orlando Pirate, the young defender that is really doing well. Now, then we have Kabani from Mode FK Norway. Then we have Yaya Sitolo from Tondela. Then we have Mokwena from Sundowns. We have Mbule from Orlando Pirates. Then we have Apollos from Apollos is Pirates, but this season, yeah, he played for Polokwane City last season, so he just joined Pirates, and he has been doing, yes, he's a Pirate player, so he has been doing so well. Then Moremi Pirates, and then Foster Burnley FC. So that was a very good one. Then in terms of the Zambian team as well, we have Toaster Nsabata as well, plays in their league. Obina Chisala, we have Chongo, we have Benson Sakala, we have Chaiwa, we have Musonda, which is their captain, we have Siame, we have Giving Kalusa, we have Paxin Daka, which is the Leicester City striker, but of course it's not really coming to the party anymore. He has really dropped from there. We have Fashion Sakala as well. So it was a good test, and don't forget that over the weekend, so many countries that qualified for the World Cup, they played friendly games, in preparation. Senegal lost to Brazil 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0, yeah.
Then Uzbekistan beat Egypt, to my greatest surprise, I think 2-0 as well too. Ivory Coast as well to lost either to Japan or so. I've forgotten their team. So South Africa,
it's
Japan, right?
Yeah.
So if all this team lose, if they lose their match, and then South Africa winning, yes, you might say Zambia is not that open, but friendly match, a game is a game. When you record it, other African team will have just played that game and still lose or draw the match. You understand? It will be on record. So any match you play count. You that face a match with Uzbekistan or with Japan, you should know that you are ready to play there. If you meet them in World Cup, you play. So if you meet Zambia too in Nations Cup or anything, you will not say because they are African team, you play them. So I feel like it's a right step for them, playing that kind of match against Zambia and then winning that kind of margin 3-1, playing good football, all your players coming to the party. I feel like it's very, very good for the South African team as well. Very, very good for them.
All right, Albert, the only goal scored by the Zambians came from Joseph Shabobo Banda, a player from Apo Beersheba of Israel. What do you take of that guy, that player?
Yes, he's just a player like every other player in the team, but he was just in a position to score the goal and he actually scored the goal. But what is important in the game is, as I earlier stated, is the tempo of the game, how they took the game to themselves. I did say the score don't really matter here. We are in a Nations Cup here, and Nations Cup is just a month, less than a month from now. So I think they are trying to mold the team. And you see, if you look deeply, the Zambian team have a young side. The South African team are trying to improvise, bring in new injections. And don't forget, except and unless there is no tournament very close, no coach will change the totality of the team, improvising new players. You know why? When you inject in new players, you need few other old players, if not 60-70% of other players to mix with this player, because
So
the team will blend. And you see, in so doing, the new player will be able to integrate properly well. You understand? And to understand the style of football. And the style of football the team play. But I actually want to commend the two teams, but most essentially South African team. Why? Because they have actually seen football as a religion. Just as Chima rightly pointed out, if a player that plays for Pirates and comes from a particular city, and the Sundowns come from a particular city, and the players here are doing well, they are not invited. You see, the fans will want to know, why is this player not invited? So it brings healthy competition. So everybody are checkmating themselves. If this player is playing perfectly well, scoring goals, or as a midfielder, winning balls, giving good assists in his team, and you're not inviting in the national Bafana, question will rise. Why are you not inviting this player? Are you getting it? So it brings healthy competition. When there is healthy competition, you have a formidable team. Are you getting it? So if Orlando Pirates can produce 7 good players, Sundowns can produce 7 good players, Stellenbosch 2 or 3 good players, Orlando Pirates produce 7 good players as heavyweight. So within the South African League, the PSL, you can actually have 30 players that can represent. How about the few ones playing abroad? So in so doing, if you invite 40 players as your preliminary list, you're going to do a lot of screening, tune-up, screening for you to trim them down to 30 till you finally bring them to 23. If it's on a tournament, you need to have standby. You have like 3 standby or 4 standby. But for you to have that 23 players, it's not easy. You may actually have 10 or 12 players that are main team players, that their position in the team is sacrosanct, cannot be changed. But the mix of other players, when you're going for a tournament, you actually need players that can be improvised. I did say it about Super Eagles. If you have a particular player that plays in a position, and you don't have somebody that can leverage up to that person's, leverage at least 80%. That was the issue that happened between Osimhen when it was changed.
Don't mention Super Eagles.
No. When it was changed, that is where the vacuum came in. So if you want to have a good team, a formidable team, a team with strong force, you need to have players that are almost at the same level in their performance. If you have one striker, the rest 2 strikers that you are having behind him supposed to be players too that are strikers too that are prolific. If you're having a winger, you're having a midfielder, a goalkeeper, you must have people. When you say substitute, a bench do not mean those bench are not good players. It means that everybody can start a match at the same time. But if this person is injured or needs to be changed, the person coming in can perform just as its own, the same level, the same person that was inside is performing. Don't forget, sometimes the people that makes the change are the people that comes from the bench. Are you getting the people that come? Yes, most times the people that are coming from the bench, they call it tactical change. When you're coming from the bench, your coach will tell you do this, do that, and when you go and you apply these techniques tactics given to you, results coming. So I really enjoyed the game. The Zambian side, the South African side, it's a nice tune-up match, and I'm expecting to see more tune-up match for a team, because anything that is serious to play the game in Africa, we support them. Anything that is not ready, we leave them to do their thing. So the teams that are ready to represent Africa in the tournament and as well the World Cup, we are ready to back them up, give them the required support and everything for them to go and represent very well at the tournament. So South Africa has tried, Zambia too really tried in the game. So big up to the both of them. When they get to the Nations Cup, let them just show what they are made up of.
Okay. Chima, we need to ask this one question, but that question the both of you will answer that question. Friendly game is a different ball game.
Yeah.
And the tournament is a different ball game too. You know, the last time South Africa won this trophy was in 1996.
Nations Cup.
Nations Cup, yes. And Zambia won it recently when they defeated Ivory Coast in penalty shootout. You understand me? Considering the recent run of Zambia, will you compare it to the recent run of South Africa? Considering that, how close has South Africa come to win it after that 1996? You get my question? How close have they come to winning this trophy after they won it in 1996? Comparing to how close Zambia has come.
South Africa are coming there. Like I always say, why I monitor these teams closely and why I monitor them closely, that there's something that they are doing that I wish Nigeria could be doing, you know. And I've always maintained my stand that for you to have a very good national team, you must have a very good league in your country. And building the future, building a very good national team, no matter the success you want to achieve in this world, in football, you must first have a foundation. That foundation is your league, because your league, that is where you begin to produce players, even before players begin to travel abroad. So, and why? That is why I feel like the South African team are getting closer by year. Every year by year, they are going closer. But just that they lack one particular thing, and that thing that they lack is what I'm going to mention. But before I mention it, in the Nations Cup, the last Nations Cup, Nigeria defeated them by penalty shootout.
Yes.
But if you watch that game closely, South Africa, they outplayed Nigeria in that game. They had more ball possession. They had more ball attacking play. They had more corner, everything more than in the Super Eagles. But because the Super Eagles were a bit competent, thanks to Nwabali, because Nwabali understand their game, because they like to play long balls. You know, they are kind of team that whenever they are not, all these South African boys, they are very good in terms of midfield, how to hold the ball, because they play on a very good pitch. They started their career from a very good academy, so they understand themselves. They play all this Hishibobo kind of football, all this sexy football, all this, you know, lovely touches. So if you are not good in terms of tactical play, you might fall to their trap, because they will draw you closer. When they knock one or two, their wingers are already making runs. Then they play long ball. So nobody was coming close, because he's in South African, so he knows how they play their football. So definitely that was why Nwabali was coming out in front of his 18-year-olds to block most of those. But if not, they would have beaten Nigeria in that game. Thanks to the same Nwabali in the penalty shooter as well, to that save Nigeria. Now, why am I saying this? That if South Africa have gotten to that final, maybe they will have beaten Ivory Coast in that final, unlike what Nigeria did. So definitely now, as they are going gradually, their league is doing well. If you check English league, the English national team is doing well, because they are English league. You don't need to be inviting players. Despite that players are also playing overseas in Real Madrid, in Bayern Munich, all about your league, your background. Yes, you cannot stop players from going out. That is football. Football is played all over the world. No matter how good your league is, you can still find one or two players that you have the right to travel to play. But first of all, keep your home well first. If your background and your home is okay, if you go to any other place, nobody will mesmerize you. Nobody will be able to treat you badly. If you are living in a palace, if you are okay, you are. If you go out and people knows that you are living well in your house, people will not insult you. They will not take you for granted. So the same thing they do. If you watch the Spanish national team, when they won the World Cup, when they are doing well, you see them that their players, Barcelona players, 7, 8, Real Madrid players, yes, Atletico Madrid, 1 or 2, joined them. Fantastic. They reign all over the world. That time they collected almost all the trophies. Them, you understand now? If you check the PSG, the French national team too, the same thing from their league as well too. So if you check the German league too, when Germany were doing well too, Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen, Borussia Dortmund, all of this. So when you now come to Africa, everybody want to go to Europe. We are not putting our. I'm not saying people should not go to Europe to play, but let your own home as well also be okay, because you cannot be shouting racism in another man's land, fighting people that are fighting your own person. Meanwhile, in your own home ground, where do you want that person to return back to? But as a South African player now, if you go anywhere now, look at this match against Zambia now. If they invite you as a foreign player, if you come back home, you cannot come and bring your shoulder up for anybody, because the amount of money you are earning in overseas might, if it is higher, maybe slight different with the people playing in Sunday. Even some turf in Europe, I can bet that some players are earning more in Sundays and Pirates than even some of them that are in that Europe. So when you are coming already, your style of play cannot be too over higher than those who are playing. So the difference is not that much. Yeah, so South Africa are already on the right track. So I feel like coming to the next Nations Cup, there is going to be a very big threat because they are building a very strong team with their league going on. So one thing that they are lacking is a top 9. Top 9, that is the problem that I've seen at South Africa. They need somebody who can be bang, who can be rest assured of goal. Player like Osimhen type of striker, players like Salah or someone that you cannot know this team. Novete, when people like McCarthy were playing, at least you are sure of a striker that whether in the PSL league, whether in Europe, he can guarantee you 15-20 goals in a season. Because if you check their stats now, they have only played when you check their stats this year, people who have scored higher goal in this year for them. Tebo Mukona, 3 goals. Foster, 3 goals. That's very, very poor. And Mokena is a midfielder. It's not so. Where are the attackers? So that is the only problem that I'm seeing. That they have the defense line, they have the midfield, they have the wingers who can play, but they need one man that can always, that can convert those chances. That anytime they are playing, at least you can guarantee that this is a top striker that in our team, no matter it is, at least every 2-3 games can guarantee 1 or 2 goals. And if they can provide that striker going to Nations Cup, I believe they are going to play in the final in this time around.
We are teaching them to play the
yes, because even the Morocco that did well in the World Cup final, you saw that South Africa can beat them. So Nigeria was able to beat them just because of the penalty shooter. So they are building on that momentum. But Nigeria will beat them now. Have already dropped again. So South Africa is still maintaining that level. Why? Because of that their lead that they are maintaining very, very well. So it's a very big advantage for them.
Okay, how about? So how many times has South Africa come close to winning this tournament and this cup? Considering that Zambia has come 3 times close and they've won it once.
All right, thank you. You see, coming close
in recent times.
Yes, coming close is not actually winning the trophy. You can come close for 10 times. What is important is the gold, winning the gold. Because they say nearly, as a matter of fact, cannot kill a bird. But I want to align your question to, based on footballing reason, to winning African Championship, Cup of Nations, or other tournaments in the world has to do with a particular crop of players that find themselves in a team at a particular point in time, that they align, their football ideology align together. That's where they can come out productively. It is a testament in the 1994 Super Eagles squad, testament in the 1996 squad of South Africa, where people like Joshua Moshu, Siabonga Nomvete, the McFish, the Sobozizo Zuma, the guy that used to spray yourself and all of that. Now, if you come to Zambia, don't forget the Zambian side, after the plane crash in 1993, their inspirational captain was not in that. But they started in the team, but he was not in the plane. He was not in the plane. Now, they started building a team. You see how they play. They played to the final. They were less looked upon, but they were playing classic kind of football. Their approach, they were shooting from outside. They were playing good football. Kenneth Malitoni, Modern Malitoni, Happy Sishikolo, their goalkeeper, James Philly, they were playing exciting football. People never noticed them till they go to the semifinals. I get in against Nigeria, where they give us the finals. To the finals, where they give us a good run for the money. If not, Amunike who won that game 2-1 at the end of the day. You see, in recent years, they have come close to winning the trophy 3 times
before they won.
They finally eventually won it. Now, it has to do with a team. If you check that team very, very well, most of them has been in the team for 8 years. Most of them 9 years. Their inspirational captain has been in that team for close to 11 years. Yes. Now, the injections that come in, it's not injections of like 10 players or 12 players. The injection of maybe like 5-6 players. And you see, when they come, those injections, most times they are not actually incorporated in the team at once. They come in from the bench. You see, when players come, use it, maybe a paradigm shift. You understand? This one is coming, this one is facing, this one is coming. So this one that is coming, 2 or 3 that are injected in the team, they play as if they are been in the team over time because they look as if they have understudied. That was what championed Zambia winning the African Cup of Nations. So the both teams have won it. Zambia have won it, South Africa have won it. But if you look at the both of them, the football for now, though South Africa, because of their league, they have actually developed a lot of talent. Their league is very enterprising, from the fan base to sponsorship, national sponsorship, the Betway sponsorship, how much is given to the players, the welfare packages, everything. It will enable every player playing his trade in the South African league to put everything they have in order for them to be valuable, in order for them to have the call up to Bafana team. What does that bring? It brings healthy competition. Are you getting it? It brings healthy competition. Now, I tell you the truth, in the next 10 years from now, South African team will still be relevant because other players that are coming from the youth rank, they know what they are seeing from their senior players now that are there. So they are putting 100% effort to show that they climax the kind of performance, if not better, than the players that are playing now. Because there are some players that are 18. You and I may not know them now, but in 2 years now, they may around in the world stage and all of that. So the coming into the Nations Cup, we may see our prognostications may be right or wrong because we are not God. So we shouldn't be naysayers, but we'll just talk on, analyze based on what we see. South Africa have a well-developed league. Most of them are playing outside, and the ones that are playing in South Africa are playing big time, week in, week out, just like almost European standard. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? The money they are paying, their remuneration, they are paying them well, their welfare and everything. But I see coming at the Nations Cup, every game's come with its own approach, because you may see a team watching. You may tip a team to beat this team 3-0. When you get into when the game starts,
You say it's a different
ball game. So when the tournament starts, don't forget, most times when the tournament starts, Brazil have that history. They will not start well in the World Cup. But after they enter into the knockout stages, something different happens. That's how it is for some big teams in the world. So I wish the two teams all the best. They are playing good football. I like good football. The two teams are actually building up. Another player has actually faced out from the Zambia team. They are building a new team. South Africa has a team already. They have team of the future. That's why I said 10 years. They have team of the future because they are really putting much effort in the development of South African football. They are putting much effort thanks to their SAFA and everything that relates to them. But coming to the Nations Cup, I can only wish all people representing their country well in the Nations Cup, because the game comes minute after minute, 90 minutes every game. And what you give into a game is what gives you your result. So for now, I'm not going to tip anything as my favorite team, because the Nations Cup is not the World Cup. So in the Nations Cup, you go show us what you have in the pitch of play, and what you have when the team brings out its ultimate result, we come down here to analyze it.
Jimmy, is there anything you want to chip in before we conclude?
Nothing really much. They should just continue, but they should just be careful about the division between the Pirate fans, Kaizer Chiefs fans, and Stellenbosch fans. So when it comes to Bafana, the old fans should just come out and support the team, because that is a disadvantage I'm seeing in their league, this thing. So because I've seen a lot of ranting and fans, so I don't want the Bafana to be divided based on because Pirate player is not here or Kaizer Chiefs player is not. No, they should allow the coach to do his job. Whoever the coach picks should not be based on bias. Whoever is select, whether you are from Chiefs, you are from Golden Arrows, you are from anywhere, whether foreign bay, as long as they can produce results out for the national team, the glory goes to the national team. So that's just what I have to say.
Anyway, before we come to an end, I'm wishing all teams that have qualified for this year's Nations Cup, that is kicking up in the 21st of December, 2025. I'm wishing all the team the best. Any team that comes out with good players might carry the day. Thank you, and thank you so much.